Hi, I'm Kent Reimann. I'm with United Way, and I'm TI's United Way Relationship Manager. I see a lot of faces today that I recognize, and some of you I've worked with very closely, and it's wonderful to see you again. And I also see some new faces, and I hope that you'll consider working with me in the future. TI does a fantastic job on the campaign, and we really can't do what we do without your help. Your support of the United Way is critical to the health of this community, and it changes lives across North Texas every single day. There are thousands of people here in North Texas that depend on the gifts that you make and on the support that TI provides to help kids to succeed in school and to be successful after school, to live healthier lives, and to break the cycle of poverty. And that's what United Way is about. You know, I could sit up here and cite statistics for you and talk to you about all kinds of trends that we see, but the fact of the matter is that, you know, being the world's oldest fundraiser, I found that some kinds of things succeed and some kinds of things work. And I'd really prefer to tell you a story about something that happened a couple of summers ago. Each time I work with a company and I'm going out and I'm meeting a new executive that's going to be responsible for the campaign, I tend to want to see how engaged they are, how much they really know about United Way. And oftentimes, because they're very busy, they don't necessarily know what we'd like for them to know. They don't have the story to tell. They don't have the ability to verbalize the importance of what's going on in the campaign. And that difference makes a huge difference in the success of the overall campaign. So I tend to take them out on tours of agencies, because I know that if they see an agency, they see the people being impacted by the United Way, they see the programs in play, they then have something to talk about, and it tends to elevate the success of the campaign tremendously. So again, 2 summers ago, had a new volunteer from a major company. She's a general counsel with her firm, with her company, and she, very big-hearted woman, didn't have a lot of story to tell about United Way. I could have taken her to any agency, because as you go out and you see the programs, I could take you to one agency one day and you'd leave saying, golly, this deserves all my money. This is a fantastic organization. Look at this great program. And tomorrow I could take you to another and you'd do the same thing. And that's part of the value of the gift to United Way, because when you make one investment, you're funding all of these programs across North Texas. We happened to go to the Collin County Children's Advocacy Center, and as part of that tour, she didn't know anything about advocacy centers. Advocacy centers are where kids are taken when they're victims of sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse. They're being removed from their home, and the people that have been abusing them are being put into situations where they're going to be prosecuted for what they've done. She learned about that. She was intrigued by that. We went in, and one of the caseworkers gave us a tour of the agency. First, we go in and see the interview rooms that are child-friendly. Instead of a child being interviewed in a police station environment where there may be a perpetrator of some other crime being interviewed next to them, or a victim of some other crime, they're interviewed in a child-friendly environment. It got furniture for kids. It's being interviewed by someone who is a professional interviewer for children. And that's very important, because it helps them to be at ease and to be able to tell their story. We learned about where they gather forensic evidence, and that forensic evidence is unfortunate, but it's key, and it's gathered right away, and that is admissible in court, and it helps the Advocacy Center to make sure that the justice side of the business can do their job, and they actually prosecute over 90% of the population of people of the kids that come through there. She learned about the 3,200 kids a year that come through that one program. 3,200 kids in Collin County, Texas, victims of child abuse, and those are the ones that are reported. She learned about the free therapy that the kids can get, and the therapy is art therapy, music therapy, group therapy, individual therapy, and it's free for life. As long as they want to come back, they can come back, and they can get it forever until their needs are met. And then at the very end, we went into a little place called the Rainbow Room, and the Rainbow Room is a small, kind of a canteen, if you will, and it's got backpacks, it's got shoes and socks and underwear and shirts and all the needs that a kid might have, because when a kid is removed from their home, oftentimes they don't have anything but the clothes on their back. The people that have been abusing them aren't going to give anything to that kid on the way out the door. So, as we were in the Rainbow Room, she heard the story of a little boy named Jasper. Jasper was 5 years old. He'd been through the Rainbow Room. He'd been to the Advocacy Center not too long before we arrived there. And the caseworker was telling us about the situation where Jasper was inconsolable. He's 5. He'd been abused by his uncle, sexually abused by his uncle, and he was traumatized and being removed from his home, and they were trying to put him with a foster parent because there was no relatives nearby that were going to be deemed a safe place to put Jasper, to make sure that he was going to be safe. Normally the kids don't go into the Rainbow Room. That's something the caseworkers or the caregivers go, and they get the stuff the child needs. But in Jasper's case, because he was so distraught, the foster parent said, let's go in there and you can help me pick out clothes. And Jasper calmed down a little bit, and they went and they started picking out things, and the foster parent told him, Jasper, if you'll be really good and help me pick out what you need, then you can pick one thing that you want when you're done. It's just for you. So he calmed down a little more, and they picked out the shoes and the socks and the pants, and they picked out the shirts, and they picked out some pajamas, and they picked out the basic things that he needed. When they were done, the foster parent said, Jasper, you were fantastic. This was great. Look at all the nice stuff you're going to have, and it's all brand new. Because one of the things with the Rainbow Room is all the clothing is brand new. It has to have a tag on it, or they won't even accept it. And the reason for that is they want the kids to understand that they are important. They're worth more than used goods. He said, Jasper, go ahead and pick what you want. And Jasper walked around the Rainbow Room, walked around the Rainbow Room again. On the third trip around, he picked up what he wanted, came back, and said, I'd like one of these. I've never had one before. I had to share mine with my sisters. I want one for my very own. You know what he picked? A toothbrush. Now, all of us can help provide a toothbrush for a kid. What my ask of you is that when you get up in the morning and you use your toothbrush, that you have done enough in this campaign or in some other way in the community that you admire the person that you see in the mirror. Thank you so much for your time. Please help us.